Hey, it's the Jeep at night. So, I figured I'd do something a little special for Halloween. So, I present to you the 2016 Jeep-O-Lantern. Check this bad boy out. Tell me what you think. So, I made this template up in Photoshop and cut away. Now there's a couple different things I did this year. One of them was a little by accident, but I tried to focus more on silhouettes and just gradual like lighting and things like that. Instead of the way that I used to do it where, you know, I'd cut everything out and do all this crazy shading and this, that, and the other thing. So this time, it was a lot more basic. I was going to cut the Jeeps out, but I wasn't sure what I was going to do for the top, and actually I like this a whole lot better. All I did was cut out the outline, and it shows enough light that it's perfectly great. It makes a really good outline, and I'm actually really impressed with how this thing turned out. So, you know, all I used was a little saw and a razor blade to, you know, make the lines and take off the material and stuff like that, but this thing turned out awesome. Me like it a lot. Went for a kind of 360 approach, you know. It's you know, it wraps around the pumpkin, so there's a little different bit anywhere you look at it. But I just thought I'd show you that. I think it looks really cool, and it looks cool in the Jeep too. Jeep, happy Halloween, man. Alright, so for those who have been interested, I'm going to talk a little bit about the R.E.M Engine Monitor project and where we've been at so far. It's been a while since I've made a video, so I guess I'll update you. First off, for the most up-to-date information, always, you know, check the Facebook page. That's where I've been updating and, you know, talking about all the little things and stuff like that. So if you want to keep up with it, check out the Facebook page. That is the place to go. So I've been busy on a couple different ends. For the beta, I'm going to include a voltage divider that's going to be able to read the voltage of the oxygen sensor heater, because someone suggested that they wanted to see the voltage, and it was actually rather easy just because one of the pins was already on that block. So, you know, just a little circuit here and there and it's good to go. The second part is I'm going to add a light sensor that will dim the screen so that at night it's not so bright. So I'm still playing with that and trying to get it to work just right, but that is going to be another planned feature, and even if not, you know, no big deal. So those are two features that are going to be different hardware-wise on the beta model. For people that want to know when are the beta models going to be out, well, believe me, you'll know. The open beta stage is going to be for anyone, so anyone who wants to buy one, they can. I still don't know if I'm going to sell on eBay or if I'm going to sell on Etsy. I'm not sure yet, but when I do finally figure it out, you know, I'll make a video, you know, when they're ready to go and let people know ahead of time. But I actually ordered a stack, so I've got 50 boards here that are ready to go. I haven't gotten to test them yet, so I started putting this one together. I'm not done yet, but once I put this prototype together and run it through its paces and make sure everything works, then we'll know that we're good on that side. I want to do some revisions to the case, just make sure that the case is good, make sure the adapter is good, and look into some stuff there. I might be using a different Ethernet jack for the adapter, because I don't like the way it looks, just soldering the wires on the end. I don't think that looks very good, and you know, it could, you know, fall apart or something like that. So I actually found a place that sells the jacks with wires on them. You can get them in a couple different versions. I saw ones like these, which have wires on the back, which would be great, but it's like open, and the locking mechanism would take too much effort to adapt to. You also got ones like these, like the Keystone, like punch down style. And this one doesn't even require any tools. You just slide the wires in here, and you push it down and punch them into place. But I don't know. I did find some that have wires pre-attached. They already have rubber overmolding, so hopefully I can still work that into the design easily enough. But they're coming on the slow boat from China, so we'll be waiting a couple weeks for them to show up. But once they show up, I should have almost all the pieces. I just have to order screens, because I need screens. But everything else, I got 20 Pro trinkets ready to go. And the resistors, transistors, switches, all that stuff. So I should be good after one more order to at least have all the parts I need to start making these things. And then I'll just need to get some plastic. As for cases, I want to see if I can dual extrude. So I'm going to get some dissolvable filament. That should make the adapter cleaning process a lot easier. So that way they're a little easy to make, because as of right now there's a lot of cleanup involved with taking all the plastic off, and it's a pain. And I'd like to streamline that as much as possible. So that's where we're at the hardware and the software, or that's where we're at with the hardware. I'm hoping that these things will be ready to go in a couple weeks. I want to say closer to 2 or 3. I want to say almost 100% that they will definitely be done before December. So sometime in November, these betas should be ready to go. I'm hoping in 2 to 3 weeks, depending on when the parts come, if everything works and I can get the code working. Because I've actually hit a limit with the code where I'm starting to get, I'm starting to run out of resources. Because we compile this right now, I'm at 70%. Well, actually, it's going to be a little bit higher because this is on the wrong board, but I was using 100% of the memory, and that was causing crashes because the way the Arduino works, it can't handle. You got to make sure that there's a good buffer, or you have to really watch the way that your code is built. So I have to, I need to free up some more RAM so that it's more stable, because, yeah, we're using 80% of the program space and almost all the RAM. So I need to look into getting all the text off the RAM with, I think it's going to be something like prog memory, PROGMEM. That's some kind of code that keeps the text from going onto the RAM unnecessarily and stuff like that. So I need to do some software revisions to make sure it doesn't crash constantly. But I've got a sort of kind of stable build of 0.076. So we're getting pretty far in the code. Everything should look pretty familiar. You know, vehicle screen hasn't really changed. You can select your year or whatever. Gauge screen will look sort of similar. You'll notice that now the check engine light will actually come on. These stars will indicate when sensors are out of range. So this is why the check engine light's on. I've also made some combination gauges. So over here, the TPS, you'll notice that says P. That's actually an acronym for some new gauges that I added. So if we go over, first off we have a vacuum gauge, so now you can see the engine vacuum that's being placed, so that should be a little more useful than the map sensor. The map sensor is the absolute pressure, so that's the actual pressure. You'd think it would read like negative, but it doesn't, because you have to remember that the Earth's atmosphere is actually a positive pressure and stuff like that. So this is like zeroed out to the atmosphere, so this will make more sense for the regular people. Along with that, we have a throttle gauge now, so you can see what the ECU sees the throttle as. You'll have closed, partial, or open, wide open. So that's kind of useful for seeing if the engine's reading your the stops correctly. And then the last gauge is more for myself. It's a data gauge, and this number, when the information is good, it'll say good data. If it's not good, it'll give you a number. So I'll ask what that number is to see if things are out of line, because if this doesn't say good data, then you might be getting weird things in the code. I've been working really hard to make sure that it's getting good data a lot. Under options, the units, we can now change units. So we have pressure and a couple different options here. So inches of mercury is the standard for where I'm at. We got Fahrenheit and Celsius. And we also have the TPS modes. You got your regular and your advanced, which shows 2 gauges on one. It's a combo gauge. And then the loop gauge, that's also combined. So that just shows you the 2 of them together, the throttle and the ECU loop. So it just saves space. You can keep an eye on it a little better. What else? Display is the same. Under settings, update speed, check engine modes, we have off. We have failures only, so if you just want to see if things are like actually failed and completely broken. And then the other mode is warnings. That'll tell you if things are like out of range or acting funny. I'm still working on these points to make sure that they're accurate and they don't trip obnoxiously. Splash screen, reset, all that crap. One of the big things though is actually under the diagnose screen. This is what caused me to run out of RAM, because text eats up a lot of it. Under the diagnose menu, now you'll get to see what some of the different sensors should read. So over here we have our info button. So right now this is talking about the map sensor. This will be like the live readout, and this will show you like a value of what it should be at a certain condition. If we check the info, you'll see what the thing stands for, manifold absolute pressure. You can see where the sensor is located, the center of the firewall, and you can see the pinout. So you can see that A is ground, B is the output, and C is 5 volts. And I did that for most of the sensors that I can read. So you got your coolant temp sensor, your intake air temperature, your engine RPM, battery voltage, the TPS, the throttle position sensor, the oxygen sensor, and then I did add another one in here for reading like the fuel trims and stuff, but I think I had to take that out. We also have the NOx sensor. And then these are mystery gauges. So these are some of the bytes that I didn't figure out what the readings were. So I'll just leave that in there, so if people ever figure out what the heck these things do or have any idea what they're related to, you know, let me know what you figure out. But this is the order of the bytes. You know, we have byte 14, 15, 17, 20, and you know, so on. And then this will be the PROM number, so you can see what your number is in case you're unsure if your data is good or not. But yeah, that's pretty much everything for that. So that's everything that's in the code. And like I said, the other things I have to add are the dimming for the screen, and I need to add in the gauge for the oxygen heater voltage. So once I get that beta board working and I get everything, you know, set up and working good and everything's definitely, you know, ready to go, I'll let you guys know when they're ready to order. So, you know, until then, just keep an eye on the Facebook page, keep an eye on the channel, all that stuff. Believe me, when these things are ready to sell, I will let you know. But we're getting close. We are getting close. Hang in there. A couple more weeks.